Hello guys, this is Maria of Animations and Comics TV speaking, and today, as I've promised all of you that I will show you or will post the chapters of the novel Shen Yin Wang or in English known as Throne of Seal, or its other name is Sealed Divine Throne. And also alongside with that, I have also said that I will post the chapters of the novel of Soul Land. But right now, I will just post Sealed Divine Throne, and later I will start posting Soul Land. So first of all, I want all of you to remember a fact or remember some facts. The thing is that from what I have seen from up to the release of the episodes of the animation of Throne of Seal, I have seen that there are many parts that were omitted from in the animation that were there in the novel. So I would like to make you only remember that the novel and the animation have some dissimilarities and while having some similarities. The dissimilarities you will be able to know once I start reading the chapters. I will post the chapters so you will be able to know. And similarities there are because it is an adaptation from the novel only, so there will be many similarities. And I would also say one thing, that don't judge the animation according to the novel and don't judge the novel according to the animation. There are some parts that, as I've said before, are omitted and which can make the novel hilarious, but I don't know why it was omitted from the animation. So without further ado, I will start reading chapter number 1 of Sealed Divine Throne. Chapter number 1, Night Examination 1. Odin Town, containing 3,000 households, was located at the southern border of the Temple Alliance and counted itself as one of the biggest villages under the jurisdiction of the city of Hawaii. As the morning sun was rising, its bright and warm touch carefully nurtured the earth, as if calling for everyone to wake up. At that time, at the center of Odin, in a relatively big two-story building of more than 1,000 square meters, an examination was going on. A vigorous, powerful, and somewhat rough voice rang out. Tell me, why do you want to become knights? To defend humanity, to defend the kind-hearted, to defend the Temple Alliance, to defend our families. The voices that answered the question sounded young and were coordinated. Clearly, it was not the first time they had answered that question. That two-story building was the Night Temple Hall of Odin Town, abbreviated as Odin Hall. It was the place where children with potential were selected to undergo training to become knights. Today, a little more than 30 children were attending the selection test to become the most basic knight, the Knight Square. Only after they became a Knight Square could they continue studying and cultivating there. The owner of the rigorous voice was a tall, burly, strongly built, middle-aged man. His name was Balza, and he was the chief knight teacher of Odin Hall. Reportedly, he was in his prime and reputed to be very, very close to becoming a genuine knight. Balza glared severely at the bunch of kids ranging from 8 to 10 years old. Tell me, what are the standards of a knight? Once more, the answer was coordinated. Modesty, honesty, compassion, courage, fairness, sacrifice, honor, perseverance, humility, justice. Balza nodded. Satisfied. Good. All of you have been here training for 1 year. Today, we will hold the examination. Knight squares are classified from the 1st to 10th rank, corresponding to a spiritual energy between 10 and 100. Your task will be to attain a spiritual energy of at least 10 and thus become a Knight square of the 1st rank. All those who successfully pass this examination will be able to remain here and train for 3 more years before participating in a final assessment
to become an official knight. Only after you became an official knight like me can you be considered a genuine member of the temple. Now, let's begin. Jiang Hu? Yes. A oath with a big stature walked forward as he removed the wooden sword that was strapped to his back. All these youths had the same equipment, a wooden sword that was a meter in length with a width of 10 centimeters and a thickness of 6 centimeters. The examination for becoming a knight square was simple. In front of Balza was something that looked like a big wooden block connected to a stone groove. Within that stone groove was a stone bead. By hitting the block of wood, the stone bead would vibrate, and the amount of spiritual energy one has would be determined by how high the stone bead jumped. This could be considered an outdated method to evaluate one's spiritual energy, but it was very precise when evaluating spiritual energies below 100. In Shengmo Dalu, spiritual energy was the main factor used in evaluating everyone's rank in their occupation. It didn't matter if they were knights, magicians, or any other profession. The level of the spiritual energy being used was the main factor for assessing one's strength. 10 was generally the average spiritual energy level for normal adult males. Ah! Jiang Hu shouted loudly, with both hands grasping the sword as he fiercely swung it around the wooden block. Bang! The stone bead moved up, then down. Balza nodded, satisfied, and registered his name on a sheet of paper as he declared, Jiang Hu, spiritual energy level 13, you pass. Next one. The examination was quickly carried out, and in an instant, half of the people had already finished. Those who succeeded were about half of them. Long Ha Chen. When he called the name, Balza unconsciously lowered his head. Before him was the figure of a thin young boy. In comparison to the others, the young boy looked a little malnourished. He was quite thin, but had a handsome face. He had naturally supple eyebrows, big eyes, long eyelashes, a straight nose, white skin, and thick lips. Even though he was only 8 or 9 years old, he was beautiful enough to make a woman jealous of him, especially because of his black hair combined with his pair of dark blue eyes. If he were to cross-dress, he would become a national level beauty. Long Hao Chen went up in front of Balza, but he did not take out his wooden sword like the others. Instead, he placed his right hand on his chest and bowed, saluting Balza. Teacher. Balza's originally serious look softened slightly. He nodded and instructed. Start! Yes. Drawing his sword, Long Hao Chen took a deep breath and suddenly swung it with all his might, hitting the wooden block. With a puff sound, the stone bead bounced, but it obviously did not reach the 10th division. Balsa immediately frowned. Spiritual energy level 9. You don't pass. From the speed of the slash that he saw from Long Hao Chen's sword, he could see that Long Hao Chen truly did use all of his power and had gone all out, but he still could not pass the examination to become Knight Square. Long Hao Chen's pretty face became flushed, and while looking at Balsa, he said pleadingly, Instructor, I. Balsa shied slightly and said, Go down. Long Hao Chen eagerly repeated, Teacher, give me another chance. I will definitely pass. Balsa scowled, saying, But that would be unfair to the others who didn't pass. Long Hao Chen suddenly became silent, but the determination in his eyes persisted. Balsa noticed the expression in his eyes, and at the same moment, he couldn't help staring blankly at Long Hao Chen. What is that? Perseverance? The perseverance described in the 10 standards of a knight? The 10 standards of a knight were the 10 essences of the knights. Even some genuine knights are unable to display some of these 10 essences. But this kid before my eyes? While Balsa was lost in his thought, Long Hao Chen turned to face the other examinees and said, using a very sincere tone towards the ones who trained alongside him for the past year, declared, I beg of you, give me another chance. As he pleaded, he had unexpectedly knelt down. Balsa was flagbuster. The oaths, the youths were also flagbuster. To these kids that were 8 to 10 years old, it was fundamentally impossible to understand why Long Hao Chen was so persistent. Balsa's eyes widened. If it was another kid, he would have believed that the kid was greedy or cowardly. But that couldn't be the case for Long Hao Chen. Because even though Long Hao Chen may seem thin and weak, during that past year's training, he was the most assiduous amongst all of the kids. Not only did he perfectly accomplish the mandatory training every day, he also came an hour earlier and left an hour later. Balsa was a standard knight of the 10th rank, but he had already been an instructor for 10 years, and Long Hao Chen was the most diligent student he had ever seen. That boy never needed to be supervised. Not only did he train hard every day, he was also good to everyone and helped his fellow trainees whenever they asked him for help. That was also why, when it was Long Hao Chen's turn, Balsa's look became gentle. But the fact that Long Hao Chen didn't pass the exam took him aback. If such a diligent boy didn't pass the examination, the only explanation would be a total lack of talent. So, this is where the first chapter ends. I hope you have enjoyed it while reading with me, and if you like it, please like, share and subscribe, and meet you again in my next video. Bye bye. Have a great day.